Well, I'll be the first to admit, it's a bit of a beastly day. It's been spitting with rain on and off most of the day. It's 16 degrees, which you don't really expect for sort of the last week of July. But saying that, it's not cold and it's not that wet. So, going for a dog walk. And so, as you can probably hear, it's Harris the pug. Join us. I thought today I'd show you some bits I filmed over the last couple of days when the weather was slightly better, where I was out looking at my favourite foraging spots for ingredients for what will be picked to make this year's jam. So here you go, enjoy. There's lots of blackthorn growing over here, but then again, you know, I have my favourite picking spots, and this is my favourite blackthorn, and you can see why, can't you? Look, we're still in July, and look at how many sloes are already forming on here. Look at them, look. So the sloe gin this year will do very well indeed. Foragers do this, they develop their own favourite little, good lord, look at that branch there. Foragers do this, they find the best spots and they hoard them. God, some of them look, are even going blue already. They got that lovely bluish purple, which is a kind of dusty coating on them. And if you brush it off, there's a beautiful black purple underneath. But the old story used to be, when I was a kid, that the sloes would be out around Christmas time, because the idea was you had to let the first frosts get to them, and that would blet them. In other words, that the frosts would actually make them split their skins and would sweeten them up, and then you could use them in gin. But these days they're all gone by Christmas because the birds have eaten them all. So I tend to pick them around sort of August, September time, late August, September, and then I blet them in my freezer. Does the same job. And then they're useful in the gin. But my God, look how wicked those thorns are. They're evil, aren't they? You might remember me sampling one of the local wild cherries off the cherry trees here, of which there's quite a number here and another one over there. A few videos ago, and I said, won't be long before the birds have them. Well, there isn't a single cherry left on any one of these trees now. The birds have had every single one. So I'm glad I got to taste a couple of what I did, sour as they were. This is my favourite spot for blackberrying most years. It gets a lot of sun, and as you can see, it's always absolutely loaded with berries. They're way too young yet, but oh, red admiral there, look. So I will be back here in a few weeks' time. Oh yes. Just a short distance away, you find me at one of my favourite elderberry bushes. Again, this one is always loaded with elderberries. And if we just take a few steps over here to the left, sorry about the wind, we come to a nice bank of hawthorns. So all these haws, every single branch absolutely covered in haws, and most of these will be going bright red in no time at all, and the birds will start at them. But they're related to apples, they're vaguely related to apples, and they taste kind of like a sort of powdery dry apple, a bit like when an apple's got past its prime. But again, not so good to eat on their own, but they're fine for using in jams. And this is one of my favourite spots for rosebay willow herb, but I'm not actually harvesting any this year. Very cute little crabapple tree here, and with very cute little crab apples, as you can see. They're coming into ripeness now. These are, without doubt, the sourest crab apples I've ever tasted. It's a bit like putting a sloe in your mouth. One bite and your entire mouth closes up to a tiny pinprick, like you've been sucked into a black hole. But they're full of pectin, so they're great for jam. This little, well, it's not just one plant, it's actually two, but this is another little plant that I'm very fond of. The reason why will become clear when I move in closer, because what you'll see is the back of the plant. Ooh, if I can get around here. is wild raspberries. Now there's no raspberries there at the moment, but these ones tend to come in sort of in the autumn time. This is really rather good for raspberries. Doesn't look it at the moment, but there will be loads on there later. But if we go around the other side of this bush, you start to see what they are already. This is a dog rose, and these are very young rose hips. And this particular dog rose produces the very best, biggest, plumpest and sweetest rose hips you've ever tasted. So of course I'm here every year getting it for the rose hip syrup, because that's what I put on my porridge throughout the winter to keep my vitamin C up. Marvellous. So you can see the raspberries growing up through there. Look, so you can see the prickles on the stem. Yeah, there you go. So this little bush is a double whammy, double the value. Rose hips and wild raspberries. In fact, the wild raspberries are tumbling over the top here at the moment, which is quite nice. Look how thick that is, look, with the prickles. Ouch, we want to catch those. In some ways it's a triple whammy as well, because if you can get to the heart of it without getting yourself too prickled, there's mistletoe growing in here too. So come Christmas, it's where I get my supplies. So there you go, 3 for 1. That's a pretty good deal, isn't it, from one little spinny? So busy here, there's so many different types of bee and fly and wasp. Beautiful jewelled little green bottle there. It's absolutely heaving with them. Look at it. So many different species as well. That one there with the black bands on his wings, I don't know that one at all. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, will I get anywhere near it? It's a very, very pretty little butterfly. There you have it, the ingredients for this year's hedgerow jelly, which will be hawthorns, rowan berries, blackberries, wild raspberries, anything I can find really. There's so much of it in the hedgerow just going for free, and I usually gather enough wild fruit every autumn to make all my jam for the following year. I mean, why would you ever buy it when you can make it literally for free? All you need is the cost of a bag of sugar, and it always tastes better. It always tastes better. And there's all that goodness in it as well, none of those chemicals. It's fabulous, it's just fruit, sugar and water, that's all it is. Anyway, maybe when I start making the jam up, I'll do some videos. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week, and toodle pip.